Got some chips.
Chips.
All right, Nathan, what are we doing today?
All right, today we're fixing our falling apart car situation on the Gemini. So we're going to tackle the boot floor today. This is where the fuel tank sits. It is completely gone.
There's not much of a boot floor left.
There's not much left.
You can see. That's that right there. That's the fuel tank, which still looks good. The fuel tank looks good.
The fuel tank looks very good.
Maybe just make that. Why don't we just weld the fuel tank to the rest of the chassis and make it a structural member?
Yeah, we've got to replace this section here. Michael wants to try something to remake this panel and keep looking over the car. There is a bit more rust everywhere else.
The more we look, the more we're finding.
The more we're finding.
So we're kind of like close our eyes a little bit, just keep going with it.
But the main focus is this. That's what we're going to get into today.
Yeah. I have been working on this off camera for a little while now. Not a little while, maybe last month, just doing little bits and pieces as I get time. Trying to fix the rust repairs. They don't need to look concourse, they don't need to look amazing, they just need to not have holes in it. That's the idea of this thing. So I fixed the A-pillar, that's pretty much done now. That took me about a day. I fixed in the engine bay as well too. There was a hole in there. And I've also gone over and touched up our floors as well too, because you remember we did the floor pan replacements on this like a year ago now. So I finished them off, they look good. But now we're up to this. Now, when I told Nathan we need to replace this back panel, he told me, oh, that's easy, we'll just do it the way Dad does it, which is the way he's done it on the Cortina. And that's just getting a flat piece and you put a couple of ribs in it, and it works really well, it does, it looks fine. But when you look at this, you'll notice there's a fair pattern in this, like the way they do this from factory, almost like they do a floor pan. Now, no one makes a replacement panel for a Gemini wagon, because how many Gemini wagons are there out there anymore? Not many, because they all end up looking like this. And I got curious about how, if you can't buy a replacement panel, how would you make it to look OEM again, to look like it was standard, or basically replicate this pattern? So I did a little bit of research and I did a lot of looking around on YouTube and stuff like that, and I came across a dude that makes his own panels with a little jig and an air hammer. And I thought, you know what? Not that we really need to go to this extent, we probably could just replace it like the Cortina has been done. But it's a good test bed to try it, because one day we might need to try it, or we might need to do it and it'll matter. This is good practice to practice on this when it doesn't really matter, so we don't get it perfectly right. It doesn't really matter. And if it doesn't work today, we can just go and make that panel that the Cortina's done, do it that way. So I'm gonna try it, just for the fun of it. And if it doesn't work, you guys get to find out it doesn't work. Nathan's very excited. I'm very excited to watch you do this.
Nathan's just going, I just want to do it the normal and easy way. And I'm like, nah, let's try and fail. Anyways, first things first, let's get it down. We need to get the fuel tank out so we can see how big this panel is. Then we need to make a template, and then we make our jig. And Nathan gets to laugh at me when it doesn't work.
Oh, it's actually really narrow. Whoop, there's the fuel. It is full to the brim. I'm gonna need some bolts. Yep, no, it's heavy.
Oh God, that is full.
Whew! Oh! Puffer! Sock. I hope that's a sock. Ugh, it gets worse. Alright, well, it looks like it comes good about here.
Yeah.
Which is about where
It's pretty much where it's visible from underneath.
Where does it stop? It looks a lot better underneath than it does from on top.
Because the orange hasn't seen through.
It's still good. Nathan wants to chop this exhaust so hard right now.
I do.
Okay, please tell me there's a flange somewhere. No. If you ever get reincarnated in this world, one thing that I suggest you don't ever want to come back is, it's a Reciprosaur blade owned by Camilleri. Because you will have cut through so many exhausts in your lifetime that you'll be basically a dull little tiny blade.
But you will have the sickest sounding car on the lot. Like butter?
Well, that bit feels okay. It's about the only bit that feels good.
good. You're doing the punch test.
Yeah, I don't want to do the screwdriver test because then we'll find more. Alright, now we need to make a template.
Where's the surgery mark?
Alright, so. we're gonna
On
make-
today's episode of Drawing with Michael, we're going to teach you how to draw a Gemini. What are you going to start doing? You're going to start with 2 wheels.
to have a big piece of paper. So we're gonna make a big piece of paper for our template. Nathan's making fun of me because I watched a dude on YouTube that apparently is like one of the world's best fabricators. And I said, don't look that hard, we can do that. And he was very quick to point out that this guy has decades of experience.
I know by the end of the day when we've done 8 hours on one floor pan, we're going to be like, why?
8 hours, dude, it took me 8 hours to do the B pillar. Now, where's all your little magnets? We'll see if we can find some metal for it to stick to. Oh, so there is some metal in there.
Yeah, there's no bog in it, that's for sure.
I love how much you're loving this.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
It's what you don't say, that's the issue.
Dirty thumbprint.
Where is it?
And you just rub it. We're doing a massage course.
We're
What you want to do is you want to get your thumbs down the rib.
I'm just gonna feel for it. That's what we're gonna do. It feels like there's a rib going that way. Stop laughing! What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
You're supposed to be supportive.
I am, I'm supportive, I'm not.
You're supposed to be helping.
I am, I'm helping.
You're not helping.
No, I am. I'm going to grab the texter off you and I'm going to help out.
Uh-huh. I think there's a...
I feel like you're winging it at this point.
It's artistic license.
So Jim lives here, right? You turn left onto this road, right on that road, Jim's there. Bob lives here.
No,
It's quartz.
you know, what's this? What are you? Where'd you come from? Oh, that's just, we don't need that.
What is that?
That's
oh,
just
that's another. Oh no, this is another court that comes off the court.
Oh, there is. Ew. We don't want that. Oh, there's one here
Is there any
too.
more courts that come off courts?
There's a cord here.
Oh yeah. Just ends there.
Yeah. All right. That looks good. We can work with that. We got them all over.
Yeah, it's close.
All right. Now we make.
And you've got your route map there.
Yep.
That's
Don't
the
need that
Street
anymore.
Machine Drag Challenge route map.
Not bad. I'm so excited.
All the metal guys out there probably looking and just face palming.
All right. Now that we've got that, what we do now is we trace that under here. Ta-da! Well, what we need to do now is we need to cut this out and then we do it again. So I cut another piece out, so we just basically mirror this. We're gonna sandwich our bit of steel in between. You get yourself an air hammer, like this. Sacrifice an air chisel bit, which we have, we've cut the top off. You get a piece of like round stock, weld that onto there with some big, fat, juicy welds. Round the bottom of this off, and then you all the way through to make ourselves our pattern. That's the goal anyway. We're gonna see if it works. If it doesn't, well then Nathan can take I told you so and we move on. So Nate's gonna weld this on now and we're gonna go from there basically. This is what happens when you don't have a lathe. Then we do this.
It's just that easy.
It's just that easy. Alright. We're
nearly done. All locked up, ready to go, so that can only mean one thing. Alright. Do you want to do the honors?
This is your project.
Oh, right, okay.
Ready?
Yeah. Bugger. I was really kind of hoping that was going to work. I think the principle is there, but I don't think we're there.
You started getting it there.
Yeah, there it did. But see how long it took to do that? Like
Yeah.
a little bit. Shall we pull it out and have a look and see what we did and then admit defeat and go the other way?
Yeah.
Alright, well, we have suffered an injury. Our tool is no longer so much a tool anymore. Now it's a uni joint. Ah, it's really hot.
It's really hot.
Let's pull it out and see what we're dealing with, eh?
Why am I having a major deja vu right now?
Of what?
I don't know, just...
All the other times we've failed or something?
I don't know what it is.
What if I pulled this out and it actually looks really good?
Then we keep going.
Oh, actually, it's not as failure as I thought that was going to be.
What's the backside like? That's actually nice.
That's actually pretty good. I was expecting...
It's a bit lumpy, but like if we had the plate under it,
Yeah.
it's actually done not a bad job.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about it.
I think there's things that need to be worked on in making a panel with this technique.
Yeah, I think probably needs to be 1.2. We're using 1.5 because that was all I could get. Our tool that we made is probably not rounded off enough. It needs to be rounded a bit more to be a bit more pointy. So there's obviously the bigger surface area that the harder the hammer is to working, trying to put pressure on this thing. Our welding was not great. But then again, that was working pretty hard. And I think to smooth that out properly, what you're supposed to do is there should have been a base under this as well too, because then that would have got us when you hammer it, because at the moment every hammer is just sort of going into the air, where if it had a solid base to hit, it might have worked a bit better.
It actually got a really nice, like, scooped, rounded edge.
does. We were running out of air pretty quickly as well too, which meant it would have been air, wait for air to pump back up. You need a pretty good compressor to do it. But I wouldn't say that you couldn't do it. You could definitely do it. It's going to take a long time and a lot of effort, but it could be done. So I'm not saying it's a complete failure. I'm going to say that was a learning curve.
No, I don't think so. Seeing it pulled out of the mold, it looks, I think it could have worked if we stayed in it for another 3 hours.
Yeah, which we don't have. So, what are we going to do? Now Nathan's going to get his little choppy out and
Yeah, we'll cut back to what is good steel.
keep going until we find good steel. Alright, so we're coming to a little bit of a crossroads here. We're trying to figure out what we want to do. Our plan now is we're going to cut the rust out. We want to see how far this rust goes to see how bad it is, because unfortunately it goes a little bit further than we thought. Even this whole wheel well, that might have to come out entirely because it is stuffed, and realistically we don't need it, so we might just remove that and sheet that. But what we're thinking is we're probably going to get it cut out today, and that's where we're going to call it a day because we're going to run out of time. It gives us time to think about how we're going to repair this. Old-fashioned way with a pan, or just put a couple of ribs in it and get it done. With the ribs, like we spoke about before, where we're going to probably do a rib across there and a rib across there, and that's all done in the folder. It's fairly simple, fairly easy. It's quick and it'll work, but it won't look original. Not that we really care what it looks like in this car, but you know, whatever. Or do we persist with the method that we tried earlier, which is trying to make the original floor pan look original? We have a couple ideas on what we can do better to make it work, and we could implement them, but it means we need to go get stuff that we can't get a hold of today and we just don't have time for. So we're going to leave it. In the meantime, Nathan's going to get to cutting, and we're going to see how bad it's going to get. So anyway, let's just cut a big hole in the back of this thing and call it a day.
Let's do it.
Alright.
I like how snappy it is.
It is very snappy. You know, judging by how quickly and easily that cut through,
Yeah, I know. It's very
not a lot
thin.
of metal there. Oh, that's not too bad. What you've cut there is pretty thick.
Yeah.
That looks alright. You might be able to save that. Wash the tyres. Alright, you know what? It's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like around here and everything, that's still like original thickness.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all, actually.
He's getting fancy now. Oh my god,
What?
you found a Sharpie.
Yeah, I know.
It actually looks so much better just having a damn hole.
We'll just leave it. And we can just, if they go, mate, why is there a hole there? And we're like, oh, we want like that drop tank look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just put a drop tank in it.
Yeah. Easy.
Alright, so we've realised what this episode is now. It's about busting internet myths. And we're going to try today, because I saw this on TikTok the other day, where to get the sound deadener off, they use this stuff, or similar to it, just a freeze can, wherever it is. Coats are pretty heavy, but then apparently he just got his screwdriver and it all came off. Now this stuff here is pretty well stuck, so let's give it a go.
So what do you do?
He said you coat it, and you got to be pretty liberal with it.
Is it cold? Touch it.
Oh yeah, it's cold.
No way.
Feel it.
Oh, holy crap.
That actually worked really well. You'd go through a lot of cans, but
Looks like
look,
the Fairlane's carpet's coming out.
but look, that's pretty well stuck, right? Don't know if this is flammable, so good luck when you grind this in a minute.
That's rubber. You can hear that it's like frozen it up.
Yeah. No, that actually works.
That's actually impressive.
There we go, one TikTok thing that worked. Don't try and make floor pans. Looking at this, it's actually not as bad as we thought it was going to be, in the sense that what we're actually welding to, there's still some material left. It actually seems to be about the original thickness of the steel, which is about a 1.2 mil by the looks of it. What I mean by that is, normally when you come to the rust, you get flakes. Like this right here is steel. It's so thin that it just blows out, but this stuff, where we've cut to, is actually still looks like it's about the original size. So welding a similar material to it, it should not blow out, and it should be pretty durable. So that's what we're going to do now. Nate's going to cut along here, make the hole a little bit neater, and around there, and then we're going to figure out what we're going to do next. Whether we're going to make our new panel or we're going to make the ribs, we don't know yet. We'll get to that when we get to it. But for the minute, I'm actually pretty happy to see that. It's not as bad as what we thought it was going to be. We were worried that it was going to run up into here, and it has, but it's only surface rust. So we're going to just treat that with some rust kill, some rust converter, that'll be fine. And then we're going to get to this bit.
Oh, crispy.
Alright, well, that's pretty much where we're going to call today. I'm sorry that we haven't got more done. But that's rust, unfortunately. This is the exact reason why we chose not to film any more rust repairs on this thing, because it's just this. There's a lot of like days just spent feeling like you got nowhere with it. Dirty, shitty, ugly, crappy work. But it has to be done. So this side's not looking too bad now. We will continue to work on this. This side is going to be a bit worse than we thought it was going to be. This wheel well is completely stuffed.
We're thinking we're just going to remove it because we're not really going to have a use for it once this is said and done with this car. So we might just flat sheet it because it'll just be easier and it'll end up with a better result and more strength in it, we reckon. So, if you've liked this episode, I hope you have. Consider liking and subscribing, it goes a long way to supporting the channel. And if you want to support the channel even further, head on over to the website where you can buy a bunch of t-shirts, thread testers, fender covers, stickers, all that kind of stuff. Really goes a long way to helping us buy an engine for this thing, because we need to buy an engine for this thing and they're not cheap. Maybe next episode we'll talk about what engine we want to put into this thing.
He's finally ready to let it loose.
Yeah, maybe we should, because we want help, basically. We want to see if anyone has a donor car laying around that we could get, because it turns out they're pretty expensive, as they are. So, anyways, head on over to the website. It really goes a long way to helping us out. And if you want to become a Hackshop Garage member, there's a bunch of benefits that come with that. Anyways, maybe we'll go work on the HG or something, because that's not as dirty, shitty,
I know,
dusty.
we've done all the dirty, shitty, dusty jobs on that.
Yeah, that's looking clean. We just need some brakes. Anyways, we'll see what we're on to next. Alright, I know we said we're going to leave this for next week to try and figure out which way we want to go, and we're going to come back and reassess, but I just can't help myself. I have to see if this works. But this time I'm trying things a little bit different to see if we can actually get this to work. One of the issues we found with the old system that we used, the thickness was 1.5mm steel. Probably a little bit on the too thicker side, and it made it too hard to actually try and bend that metal. So now we're trying a 1mm piece thick steel. Another issue which I reckon we had was when we routed out both sides of our jig, it meant that we were trying to depress the metal around 19mm, way too big. What it really needed to be was about a 10mm drop. That's what standard was, and that's what we're trying to achieve. So this time around, we've routed out the jig. Using the top piece as a guide, we routed out a 10mm valley. That allows us to actually have a stopper on our air hammer, so it hits here, and hopefully it'll create a more uniform, shallower, and neater finish on these valleys. After we've done that, we then need to fill these holes. To fill those holes, we're using a bit of brass underneath the hole, and we're just going to basically plug weld it around, just slowly filling holes. Then we're going to grind it all flat, and hopefully, with any luck, it's not going to bow, it's not going to distort, and we have our finished panel ready to be cut up and welded in place. Alright, so there she goes. Jigged up. Gonna try and see how she goes with 1mm rather than 1.5. Hopefully, it's a bit more malleable, bendy, and we're able to get a pattern into it. Let's find out, shall we? That is working better. That could work. There's potential in this. Excited. See if we can into a big banana. Look at that. She's a little ugly, but like, you could dolly that out. I'm pretty happy with that, gotta say. It's a little rough and ready, and you can see it's, you know, where the hammer drill has sort of made a little bit of a mess, but honestly, if you spend a bit more time finessing that, you could bring that up looking really good, I reckon. But this gives you the basic start. Even just then, I just went over it with a hammer and dolly, and I was able to neaten it up a fair bit, and if you spent the time, you could probably get it looking really, really nice, but to get the basic shape, that actually works really, really well. Piece stayed nice and straight. There's barely a bend in it. Definitely nothing that we can't work with. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fill these holes with weld and grind it all flat, and job done. That's our floor pan done. Looks pretty good if you ask me. I've still got a couple of things I got to touch up. I can see I missed one of the welds there to clean up, but turned out alright. I think this is going to look fine in the car. Like once it's coated in black and everything sort of blends in, you won't notice these pimply dints just as much, and at least it'll look somewhat standard. But all I wanted to do was test the theory of whether you could make ribs or make a standard looking floor pan without access to a massive 50-ton press or fancy tools, just an air hammer and some chipboard. And I think this answered the question. It did actually work. We just had to reassess how we were going about it, think about it a little bit more, and try again. And I'm stoked. I can't wait to show Nathan. I reckon he's going to be blown away with the result. It looks great, especially when considering this is what we started with, which looks very, very average. So anyway, until we get to weld this bad boy in, see you in the next episode.
So what's your plan?
Give up and walk away.
I'm walking away
I know how much you're loving this.
from the rust in my life. I'm walking away to find a better day. I'm walking away. Anyone got some nice rolling shells out there? Maybe HQ that we could turbo LS swap and make Michael a street car.
They actually work really
And that
well.
is how you make grass in paper. Oops. If you want to do like thin long grass, do thin cuts. And that is scrapbooking 101 with Nathan and Michael.
Just a little off top.
I didn't think I'd be making a rust repair panel out of timber. Nah, I know his idea. I know where he wants to go with it. But we'll just keep giving him shit. But I think it will work.
Avoid contact with skin and eyes. Wear suitable gloves and eye protection, and use in a well-ventilated area. Avoid release into the environment.
How the hell are you supposed
That's
to use
just
it?
to use the can.
You need to do it in a bubble.
Then it's not ventilated. And we're going to see how bad it's going to get. I don't really want to know. I don't want to know. If it's under here, please don't let it show.
On key.
Wrong key or?
No, on key.
Thank you.